So, welcome, guys, in this conversation. We know we're gonna have a great conversation to talk about a little bit about the podcast you're doing. And let's start with Alvaro.
Yes, this is so weird for everybody because we never try to speak in English. Well, on this podcast, we always try to speak in English in every word because we want to learn.
Yeah, that's true.
But well, this is Next Level Podcast. This is a new episode, and we have an interview with Yesenia and Amber. I'm so grateful to have you here. Maybe I want to hear you say hi to the audience, to the people that listen to this podcast, and speak about your. If you don't know, they have a podcast. They speak about abstinence. That is a really weird topic that nobody wants to hear.
That's true.
But these two girls, they find a new perspective and a different point of view about this topic. So I want to learn about you today. So how are you? How you feel here?
I'm super excited. I came in, I was taking videos. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. So thank you for having me on here. Super exciting. It's a pleasure. And I thank you guys for welcoming us and also taking a chance to try something new.
Yeah.
Speaking English.
Yeah.
And
Well.
next time we come, I'll speak Spanish.
No,
So.
today you have to speak Spanish.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Oh my God.
Mi
Yeah.
nombre es Amber.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Sí.
my God.
Oh, wow.
Amber. Okay.
All right, guys. And so we're going to make this podcast in English, but also in Spanish. There are many things that we don't understand, but also we're going to make something in Spanish for you. And let's start with this question. We know your podcast is talking about the abstinence. And I want to know what motivated you to do this podcast, because like my friends say, is so weird. And also we know everyone has our own concept about this, but I know very well that you're gonna inspire something, and that's why I'm asking for who motivated you to do this. What is your challenge to do this?
So we were having conversations because we both ended up becoming abstinent around the same time. And in those conversations, she said, we should be recording this because there's people who need this kind of camaraderie.
Okay.
There's people who are abstinent that don't have a partner and they're by themselves. And I was like, you know what? You're right. There's someone.
Actually, it's really common in this country, like to be lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to be lonely and maybe to fall in love with somebody because you have your own dreams. Everybody have their business. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't have time for love.
Yeah. And we just wanted it to be like, if you're in Africa, if you're in Europe, if you're in South America,
Okay.
and you are in a small town, and what if you're the one Christian person that's abstinent and you don't
Okay.
have anyone to talk to about how difficult it is
Okay.
to have a boyfriend or girlfriend and you want to touch each other or you want to have sex, but you are trying so hard not to. And we wanted to create a community of people wherever you are in the world to feel
Okay.
like you're
Yeah.
not alone.
Yeah.
Like we're here and Christ is here and Christ is always with you.
All right, but this is not just about the faith, right?
No.
Because it has consequence each act, we know. And that's why I'm so interested about this, because it's not just to say, it's not just to be abstinent, to not do or to not have the sex with somebody else. Instead of that, it has a purpose.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a discipline. It's like building a muscle.
Okay.
When you work out, what are you trying to achieve? Maybe you want to increase your fitness or you want to just have a really nice body.
Okay.
So, in the same sense,
Okay.
abstinence is a discipline that helps you achieve a goal. And I think I could speak for both of us when I say, like, our goal is just to be closer to God and more in alignment with what we believe how he's calling us to live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When I hear you speaking about that, makes me think a lot of things
Yeah.
because it's like, okay, I know like the basic stuff about abstinence. I can understand what it means, but it's something that I never be like, thinking about that. Is like, yeah, she's speaking about abstinence. She's speaking about sex. The main topic is the sex.
Mm.
Everybody always is thinking about sex
Yeah.
because everybody needs love, right? And sex is
Ooh. But is sex love?
yeah, but I'm going to that point.
Okay.
But that is a really good question. But love and sex are connected
Yeah.
in some way. So of course, in my own experience, I can say when I feel of something for some person,
Mhm.
I will want to touch her.
Mhm.
So I want to have that connection because it touch, you feel the warmth, you feel the love,
Mhm.
you feel love when you touch somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's a connection. So sometimes we think we are thinking about love, but we are thinking about sex. So what is it? It's like a really big
How do you
connection.
determine the difference?
Exactly.
I would say this is actually something I'm learning real time. I would say you can determine the difference if you're willing to forego that just to get to know the person. I've found that like trying to maintain abstinence, I have to constantly redirect my mind to not focus on sex. And because like I'm practicing this discipline of basically abstaining from it, like it's heightened. Like my thoughts about it are heightened.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, if I can actually focus on what this person's saying and like really be interested in them and like really shut away those fantasies that are popping up, then hey, there's something here because it's not just me in my mind about wanting to like jump on this person. And I don't want to jump on people. So, but I just use that analogy. Yeah.
Okay, dude.
Do you have something to add to that? How do you determine?
I think there is a part of me that was driven by lust at one point, and that led me into caring about someone. But like I was explaining, is that my mind has always been very compartmentalized when it comes to love and sex. It has always been separated. It was never together. And because of that, like if I liked a person, it takes me forever. It takes me like 6 months to 8 months before I can feel love for someone. And I've only ever loved 2 people in my entire life.
But you can feel,
But the lust part has nothing to do with me caring about that person. Like I just...
Yeah, the sex don't make you... Well, it depends.
Disconnected it. Like even when I was having sex, like one of the biggest things was that like the person that I was having sex with was always like, where are you?
Okay.
Like where is your mind?
Okay.
Yeah, like
that's a really normal way to think about that.
Body kind of thing. Like, oh, okay, I'm itchy. I need to scratch this itch. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I didn't.
Yeah, it's like something physiological that you have to feel. It's like I need to have sex because I have this necessity.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I need to eat.
I need to eat some girls. Oh my god. So, but of course, what I want to say too, but you don't feel okay. If you are watching the sex on that way, you're not going to feel love for anybody,
for everybody.
But when you feel love,
that
maybe you want to have sex. You don't have that connection.
Not really. No, like the love that I feel for someone is, who are they? What do they do? What are their goals in life? Do I feel like you make me laugh? We have things in common. I enjoy spending time with you. That's the love part. And then for me, the like sexual part has always been like, are you attractive? Do you like?
So you can fall in love with somebody that is not attractive to you?
That's a good question.
Because
we've talked about this.
Good question.
We've talked about this. I feel like you've told me that sometimes you won't necessarily be attracted to that person, but the more time that you spend with them, all of a sudden they become more beautiful to you.
All right.
So
one of my
and this is an individual case. I don't think this is like everybody's.
But maybe this have to be for a reason.
Yeah.
I guess because this is the thing. Okay, you can be friend of somebody. You can meet the people. You never be thinking about if attractive or not because it's your friend. But if you like somebody, you
Mhm.
want to be friend of that person. So it depends how you start the relationship.
Mhm.
And also sometimes you don't feel anything about anybody. You don't want to be his friend or
Mhm.
her friend or any or nothing. But then you feel a touch, maybe I don't know, 2 fingers, 2 feet, something that you didn't expect.
Mhm.
And something happened and everything changed. You can well in I don't know, because love is something
Mhm.
really, I don't know, is I can't explain love.
Intangible. It's like soul.
Love can be a
spirit.
decision,
Yeah.
but love can be feelings too.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't have like the meaning of love right now.
What's popping up is the Bible verse. Love is
What?
patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. So if we're taking that, I think that is really a great way to determine if you actually love somebody versus if you're just sexually attracted.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be more patient. You're going to be kind. You're going to be like, you're going to lay down your pride. You're going to sacrifice some stuff.
All right.
Right?
That's cool. And I'm agree with you because this is the real love. You know. Yeah.
As the Bible tells it.
Yeah,
right?
as the Bible tells,
Yeah.
but we can live that so because you know a lot of people in this time just interesting about the sex, about you wish I wish this one, and but this is not the life. You know, that's what I'm saying. Each action has a consequence.
Mm.
When you just wanna get what you want to anybody else, to get in trouble with somebody or whatever.
Mhm.
So we understand this. There are consequence, and not just in the life here. In emotional, we know that emotional it has to be in this case, and that's why I understand that's what you're doing right now.
Mhm.
This it's important to to all the people.
Yeah.
Because like I say, this is not just about the faith. This is about how do you want to
Live your life, right?
Yeah.
And another group that we're trying to, I guess, engage with our podcast
Okay.
aren't just abstinent people. We kind of just want to, I guess, pull up the veil and let everybody see us process through trying to live this lifestyle so that maybe if they want to stop drinking, they can be inspired and become abstinent in that way. Like if they're, because you're seeing us struggle through and try to like, okay, don't think about that. Don't think about, you know?
You're right.
Right?
Yeah. I didn't saw the point of you. Yeah, because abstinence is not just about sex. It's about something that is toxic for you. Yeah, self-control.
You have to have a lot of self-discipline to cut habits. So like one of the habits that I had is I would get drunk. One of the habits that I started getting into is I smoked weed. And in order for me to stop getting drunk and stop smoking weed, I had to be disciplined. I had to have self-control. And the more, like she said, it's like you're building a muscle. The more you work at it, the better you become at it, the more you overcome those temptations.
And this helps you for a lot of parts of your life.
For your life.
Because also, when you're speaking about workout, sex is something that don't help you to.
It takes your energy.
Yeah.
Like athletes.
And I heard
soccer players, like before their game. Don't do it.
And I also heard that if you can focus your sexual energy in your goals, you're going to be more productive.
Absolutely.
Because
so it's a hack. So it might not be that you're trying to be abstinent because you're like, oh, I want to get closer to God.
Okay.
I'm not saying that you're not close to God if you're having sex still, but it could just be that, you want to see, okay, who am I outside from this?
Exactly.
Okay.
In that part when we were speaking about in the last podcast, we were speaking where you want to change your life, you have to change yourself first.
Okay.
And to change yourself, you have to
do something different.
to meet yourself.
Yeah.
And and this is me, this is not me. I want this, I don't want this. But this is me too. So I have to borrow this, I have to change things on my life. So in my case, I think abstinence, I know what Bible say, what God say about abstinence. I know God say you don't want he don't want me to have sex with anybody before the marriage. Okay, I understand that. But why? Why the Bible say that? And I was thinking, okay, in my own experience, because I felt in this part of the law, I was like, sex is not bad.
No.
Man, damn, is really good. And I feel love. I don't want anybody else. I don't want to be, in an affair. I just want to be with this girl. I just want to be in this relationship. But I'm not married yet, and I'm having sex with this girl. But I want to be his husband. I want him like as my wife. So what is the wrong side? Then we broke up, and I saw the reason why.
Yeah.
Okay.
You care to tell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's like,
This is your time.
of course. Oh my God. Come on, my ex. Okay. In my own opinion, it's important because, like, when I have sex with somebody, my emotions are connected with that sex that I have. Maybe not the first time, maybe not the first month, but in some point something going to happen. So that's my case. I can have sex without emotions too. Maybe 1, 2, or 3 times. I don't know. Then because I want to respect that person. I don't want to have sex with anybody or with somebody and then like, oh, you're just, my little toy. So I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
Yeah. So I finish trying to respect that person, and I can see she is feeling something. I'm going to try to respect her with feelings back. So in that point, I was telling like, I can fall in love with anybody that I have in sex, and I didn't know, and I didn't match. It's not like at the first. It's not like oh, I have sex with you, so I'm falling in love
boom.
now. No, it's not like that.
Over time.
Yes, it's over time because in my case, I'm not a person that I want to have sex with everybody. I don't want to be with 1, 2, 3, or 5 girls at the same time, or maybe one with this week. No, I don't know the kind of guy.
Okay.
I like to be, like responsible with that kind of topic. So that is what is happening. That is what.
But do you feel like every time that you were in those relationships and you were having sex, did you ever consider that maybe you, in your mind, it was a way to justify it by saying, okay, I'm having sex with this person. Maybe I love this person.
No. It's not like that. It's not like, oh, I love you. No. But I start to feel like something. Like,
so when you broke up with the young lady,
well,
you said you learned something.
I was in a okay, that's in a different point. I was in a long relationship by 3 years. So I was she was my wife. We was thinking about marriage and all of these kind of things. But then I've had sex a lot of times. So at this point we broke up. And I started like, trying to find somebody else. I was thinking maybe now I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be the fuckboy maybe. But then I say, no, my values are not that. I don't feel good doing that. So what happened? I was feeling like my emotions wasn't in the right way. I can't control my emotions in that point because I was thinking that love never going to end. And what happened? End.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody that end. And then I was trying how I going to do this now on the right way to don't feel this again. Because I was thinking I was doing the things in the right way. Because before of that relationship, I was thinking I have to be with somebody first because I don't want to marry with somebody that we don't have going to have connection or sex.
Can I speak to that? A lot of people think that.
A lot of people do.
But that's where trust with God comes in because God knows what you like. He knows what you want. He knows what you need. And God's a good God. He'll hook you up. Like he'll.
But in that point of my life, my relationship with God was like,
Más o
menos. It was más o menos.
But I'm gonna say a little bit about this.
Okay.
Because this happened when you don't have a compromise with the person who you love, because what I don't like about her, I can just leave her.
Yeah, there's
And
no commitment.
Yeah, and you don't know when you don't feel anything about her, and without compromise, so you know that you have the life free. You can do whatever you want.
So
And
like a marriage
yeah,
contract.
yeah, like a
Without
marriage.
that
Yeah,
contract,
with
you're free to leave.
yeah,
And you can
that's
do
true.
whatever you want.
yeah,
If you give the value to that contract, because a lot of people right now think that's
Devalue it.
just a
Yes.
paper.
Right.
but
Yes.
it's not just that too, because when you love someone, you gotta wait, and you have to wait, because when you love. I'm gonna talk a little bit about my experience. Of course, that I'm not being a relation long, but I keep this principle, the abstinence, because I know God is first, and everything that I gotta do because I have a revelation. It's not just about thinking I'm not just do this because it's bad, or it's not in the Bible. No, I got a great revelation about this.
I like
To not-
revelation.
Yeah, because
She's
so
a classic girl.
when you do something that take off your energy, you can't fluid. No puedes fluir. How do you say that?
Can't flow.
Yeah,
You said it right.
that's the right way. But when you try to do the best, maybe there are sometimes when you found a nice relation, that somebody hurts you, because we are human. We are imperfect. But when you understand this principle to put God first place, God take care about everything. And the right moment, He will bring the right person. And I'm not just gonna say this because just hearing about. No, I see the how do you say
blessing
the
in
blessing,
people
and
in the
also
churches, like
yeah,
the couples that we see.
the example that there's a
I
lot.
was thinking that you already see your next wife. So, oh my God,
Maybe he
Nah.
has a vision of that person already, though. Maybe God has already spoken to him about
Yeah.
that person.
I love the fact that you mentioned that you've gotten the revelation for yourself. And that's a very important point. It can't just
Okay.
be like, because we're saying like abstinence is the way.
You
Yeah.
have to do it.
You really having an experience with God where you're like, okay, God, I want to try and do things your way. And then like having that experience for yourself and choosing it yourself. That's what we stand for. We're not like,
That's a really good motivation.
Yeah, and I know this too. Everyone has his own purpose. And of course, there's a lot of people that right now we're talking about that they already has the sex, or they, and I'm not gonna say that you're not welcome in the Christian. I'm gonna say that you can do the right now. You can start
You
to
can
do
start
right.
now.
Yeah.
we're a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because
We're not virgins.
we're not virgins.
No.
So
Okay.
like I lived with someone for 5 years and we were having sex the entire time. And after that, like I really thought at that point that I was going to become a fuck girl. Like that was my thing. I was like, I'm done. I don't care about anybody. I just
Yeah.
want to sleep with people and live my life. And someone asked us the other day, they said, if you took religion to the side and you took it out, would you still be abstinent?
Exactly. Why?
My answer was no. Because that's a natural part of being human. Like that's a
Exactly.
need that we have. And if there is not a God that I'm holding on to every day for help, I couldn't be abstinent. I can't be.
Okay.
Like I can't be abstinent without God. There was one time where I got so crazy. I was like, I am going to download Tinder. There's some hot guys in this building. I'm going to go to the elevator. I'm like going to find someone to have sex with today.
Okay.
I even had like one of my friends on my phone. Like I was about to call him. And then I was like, no, you know what? I called my tia. I was like, tia, I need you to pray for me. I started fasting and then I started driving, and I didn't stop driving until I saw corn. I was literally in the middle of a corn maze.
Mhm.
And then I was like, okay, God, take me home. And then I was okay.
Mhm.
But that day I was like, I'm going to have sex today. Like that's what, like, it was like so.
He was feeling crazy about sex today. He can't
Yes.
stop thinking about that.
And that's the reality of this. Like without
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. but there are people who can.
So my answer to that question, would I be abstinent or attempt abstinence outside from my faith, was yes, I would. And the reason being is just because, I've tried things like I've tried to be in relationship in the sense of like, I'm with this person, of course we're gonna be together intimately. And I was just ready for a change. Like, I really wanted to find out who I was outside from that, and like who I could be with someone outside from that. So if me and that person could mesh without interacting that way,
you can match in sex.
Yeah.
And then you're going to, you feel the vibe because we have a really good sex. So I can support everything
I can deal with them.
Yeah.
No, I don't want that. I want to be like, I really like you.
That's my answer too. I want to match with you in more things than just sex.
And then that's added. Like when you get married, that's just an extra layer of, oh, wow, thanks God,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why is that funny?
No. I was thinking about something. I don't know. It's illegal to say.
Okay.
But also, this is not just happening with the sex. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the pornography.
Okay.
Because this is happened to, because maybe you just say, okay, I'm just see this video, is not happening anything, but also it take off energy to you.
Yeah.
Because we know we're human, and in my opinion, when you leave everything, when you bring all your debilidades, how do you say weaknesses, that's true, all your weaknesses to God, and he will take care about that too, because he's the only one that he can give you the force you need to reach your destiny. Like I say, this is not just about, I'm Christian and I'm not just gonna do this and this, and you just have a rule in nature.
About rules.
Yeah, it's not about rules.
Exactly.
It's about what do you wanna be, or where you gonna be in the next 5 years. Where you see your life? How do you gonna build that life that you wanna be? You wanna have a real relationship or just temporary?
Are you ready to build that goals that you have?
Yeah.
And I think that point is really important, because in my case, I don't want to share this just to Christian people, because Christian people understand what God says. Okay, everybody have their battles, but they understand.
Okay.
But I think it's something that you have to learn how to teach to everybody else, because it's for all the people, because everybody is having sex and falling in love and having bad relationships because they don't match with that person, because everybody's lonely, everybody wants love,
wants to connect, everybody wants a community.
Everybody wants, my honey, everybody wants to be together with somebody, have the connection, don't feel lonely. But how do you explain that? Why is abstinence the answer? So what do you think?
I think you have a really good definition of it for people who aren't Christian.
So it's really just, okay, in science, when you're doing an experiment, you have variables, right?
Of course.
Right.
So if you want to test something out, you have to control your variables. So being abstinent or taking sex off the table is a way to control your variables.
Yeah.
So if I say, okay, I want to see if I really like Johnny. Okay, so I'm going to take sex off the table. That's something I will not do with Johnny for the next 4 months or 5 months or 6 months or a year.
Okay.
How do Johnny and I communicate? Do we get bored easily together? Do we have enough things in common outside from our attraction to one another to sustain a relationship where we're learning one another, we're growing together? Not only that, outside from sex, what else do I have to talk about? What else am I interested in? What am I noticing about this person? Because I'm putting my attraction to the side. So what do we really have to talk about? Do I still want to talk to him even though I'm not having sex with him? If I still don't want to talk to you,
okay,
and I'm not having sex with you, that means that you and I probably aren't personality compatible. And so that's an easy way to be like, okay, moving right along. I won't waste your time or drag you into anything, and you won't waste my time and drag me into anything.
Okay, but that doesn't make you feel like you're forgetting or putting aside the salt of the relationship?
No, because I understand that sex has its place. So
No, yeah, but the thing is this: if you, I have a lot of questions.
go for it. I love it.
It's like
I know, I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
it's like, okay, a relationship have like, I don't know, like 3 parts. Let me.
Okay, I love
An
this.
example.
You can give us a model.
Yeah. So the first part is the sweetest part, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
When
The
you
beginning.
met somebody, when you feel all these emotions, when you want to touch her, maybe not for have sex, you just want to hug, you
Yeah.
want to hear. But when you are like that, you don't feel like insípido, como without.
Insipid.
Like, is
Yeah.
your mind working? Is your actual brain working? Is that what it is? Like,
No, because you're like stopping everything.
uh-huh.
Maybe,
It does become very logical. Like,
yeah, but sometimes you
meeting
don't want to be
people.
logical
Yeah.
because some parts of the life
wanna
are
just
not logical.
live in that moment.
Well, that's cool too. Can you
You
do?
want to enjoy it.
Can you do the romance? Okay, what kind of
Exactly.
romance do you have outside from sexual romance? Like,
Yeah,
it
the
causes you
romance.
to be more creative.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
like you guys maybe can't like go spend the night. At,
Well,
you
yeah,
know.
the sex is creative. The romance is not.
But can you be creative with the romance? Because that's all you
Exactly.
have. You don't have that sex part.
It
Okay.
becomes the romantic part of dating when you remove sex becomes way more heightened.
Mhm.
Like,
Because you have to be more creative.
But you're not
your
like.
focus is a little bit different now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but you are not afraid, like, because romance
Mhm.
is like you touch here and something you feel down.
Oh yeah.
Romance is going to make you feel that kind of things.
That I think goes into boundaries for us.
Mhm.
Like for me personally, my love language is touch and
Okay.
acts of service.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for me? That means every person who's abstinent has different rules because
Yeah.
some people can do a lot of things. They can hold hands, they can hug, they can kiss.
They can buy you things. They can. Yeah, it's different.
I can't kiss someone and not have sex with them.
Okay,
So I've
yeah.
removed that from the table
Or
because
what kind of kiss?
no, I literally have not kissed someone in 5 years because I know the moment.
But like a kiss in the cheek?
no, on the
No,
mouth.
that's
No,
not
because I
kissing.
can assert.
Yeah.
For me, that's one of my. She going to
Even
feel
in our
Bruh.
friend group, when we hang out
That's
and like
it.
guys will come and like kiss me on the cheek, sometimes it makes me uncomfortable
All
because
right.
that's one of my rules is that I don't kiss people. And like in order for me to be abstinent,
How you do with your Latin side?
that's
Because everybody, maybe because
that's
you're
how you
American,
treat.
but
it's so hard because I'm very affectionate. That's something that God has worked on me. Like I have the tendency to be extremely affectionate with men to the point where it's like it becomes sexually charged. So in our friend group, when we hang out, I will purposely stand farther away from guys. I will put my purse between me and the guy next to me. I will literally sometimes I will put my foot out just so that person gives me enough personal space, you know? And to the point where some of the guys in the group have literally said to me, "Hey, you don't like to be touched very much, huh?" And I'm like, it's actually the opposite.
So how you meet guys? Because if you were like that, I can imagine in that situation, and yeah, if I am interested in you, and you do something like that, I will be like,
She's weird.
you know what? God have other plans for me.
Yeah.
I tend to shut things down really quickly. Like I think I've gone on like 3 dates in the past 5 years.
Okay.
And it's because I really do. I will shut things down really quickly because in my mind, I've been with people who are not abstinent and it's so tough because that person is not in that mindset, you know, and all they want to do is have sex. And all I'm trying to do is not have sex, but I want to have sex with you at the same time. So I haven't dated.
So the answer is get married faster, or
No, my prerequisite is you also have to be abstinent. So if I meet you, I go on a date with you and you're not abstinent, I'm like, all right, I got to be honest with you. I'm abstinent. I don't think this is going to work. And one of the guys, I have mad respect for him. He literally said, you know what? I did that when I was younger, not for me.
Okay.
And he
but you
said
give
by
the
me.
option. You can be abstinent
Yeah.
with me. You can meet me without. Okay. Yeah.
But that person has to be abstinent.
Of course.
Yeah.
You can have to
On their own. It has to. It
has
can't
to
be
come from
inspired
them.
by you.
Yeah.
It has to
Like they
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
choose to be abstinent just to date me.
What?
Yeah, no.
That's one of her standards, and that's a classic example of
But doesn't
like
make
knowing
sense with
yourself.
me
Because I've done
if
it.
I not because but wait.
Okay. Yeah.
Because in my case,
Uh-huh.
what is in my meaning of abstinence
Mhm.
is like I'm telling you, I'm not a guy that I'm going to be dating with, you know, every kind of girls and just having sex to have sex. No, I am a guy that met somebody. You know, it's like I do the process.
Like step by step.
Sometimes doesn't happen. Sometimes I do sex, but I'm not a mujeriego.
Womanizer.
Womanizer.
Mhm.
I like that word.
Yeah.
Womanizer. So I'm not a womanizer, and I meet you, and now you tell me this, and I say like this is something is like part of my values, my mindset is something that I can afford. Is something maybe that's going to make me feel better because I want this, but
Mhm.
any other girls want that, you know. So maybe I can do this, and now I'm going to call that abstinence because if I don't feel anything for anybody else, I'm not having sex.
Mhm.
So I'm being abstinence
Mhm.
at that point, but I never call it like abstinence.
Mhm.
Like when was the last time that you have sex? Maybe it can be a year, maybe it can be a month, maybe it can be 2.
But I would
don't
say
know.
that that's actually not abstinence
Mhm.
because there's still the
Like if the right person came along, you would
say-
still have
you would
sex.
have sex with
You're
her if
stay
she wanted
open.
to.
And-
No, but I'm not
There's
saying it like that.
There's a purpose and motivation behind
Okay, yeah, but an example.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that makes me.
it. Just because you're not having sex for a certain period of time does not make you
So you have to like download like an app for abstinence. You find people that is in abstinence.
That would be cool. Let's do it. Let's make it.
One of the craziest
for the
things
idea.
is I refuse to.
No, we're going to be co-workers, you know. I want more part.
I am so like one track minded that I won't even go on dating apps.
Okay.
But it's come to the point where like my whole family, they're like, you know, se te pasó el tren. You're, you know, the train
Oh, no,
is
well.
gone. And you need to start dating people. Like you need to go on a date. And I honestly, right now, I don't want that pressure.
No, that's
I don't want to be out there looking for it. I don't want to push myself. I really am trusting how you said it, Stephen.
Yeah.
I'm trusting that God is going to bring that person at the right time. We're going to meet and we're going to feel all the romance and all those emotions. We're going to get to know each other and we'll know that we're on the right path. And I'm just going to let God lead the way. And that sounds crazy though. Like when I talk to my family, they're like, you're delusional.
And your role is part of the God's plans. That role that you mentioned.
So that's a
not.
classic example of
Because that's
It's not part of
knowing
God's plan.
herself. It's just her way of maintaining her dedication to abstinence. So it's like I don't have that same qualification.
Yeah.
So you got to know yourself. If you're going to try to do any kind of change in your life, you want to make sure that you're aware of like your needs, your temptations, your desires, and your goals.
Okay.
So that's like motivation, leadership, self-development 101. And that doesn't change in the realm of abstinence. You have to kind of know what your triggers are.
Yeah.
You have to know what you can and you cannot take. And for me, I am not of the mindset, oh, this guy has to be abstinent on his own.
Okay.
He just has to be willing to respect my abstinence.
Well, if he is respecting you,
Mhm.
he will be abstinence,
Precisely.
rightly?
But it might not just come from him. Like, it might not just be, okay, him and God, they talked it out and he was like, yeah, God, I'm going to be abstinent. It might be like, oh, I really like this young lady and I want to be with her. She's abstinent. So now I'm abstinent. So, like, that's a scenario.
Yeah, because if it's not abstinence and he's not with you, so he's not respecting you. So
Right. And so I'm not of that mindset where he just has to be abstinent on his own. But that's because I have different kind of needs.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only way that being abstinence makes sense for me.
Yeah, maybe that rule will be broke if the right person that God have for you makes you feel that because I don't know.
It is
God's plans are
possible.
perfect,
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of the things that I have that I say is that I have a lot of walls that God has helped me build
Exactly.
because I had no boundary. Like, my dad literally would tell me that I was una ofrecida. Like, I would just offer myself to people.
Una regalada.
Literally. And because of that, God was like, no, you have to scale back. You have to put up walls. You have to present yourself as a lady and respect yourself. Like, that was a big thing, is to learn to respect myself, because I had none.
That's because you watch the sex like logical, like
how she viewed it.
Yeah. And I think you said something happened for you to disassociate it.
I can
And it did. Like, there was trauma behind why I think the way I think. And I think that having her as my running mate, my parallel runner.
That's important too. Have a friend who you can, like, literally just be so honest with.
Okay.
That's a key to, like, really leveling up your life. Have your person that you can go to with your craziest things.
And she has helped me realize that, like, sex and love do go together. And once you're in the confines of marriage, God will allow you to feel all these beautiful experiences. But up until this moment, I think there was one time where I had sex with someone and I felt that connection, and then it never happened again. I just couldn't.
Ooh,
in my
it's like
mind,
you touch the sky and then bring you back.
So
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that is, I can say it was the same, but not about sex. It was about the love that I was telling you in that relationship. I felt something that I never felt before, and then that is like the basic stuff. Now you want to feel that in the new relationship, and if you don't feel that, that is not working. And I think when I'm going to find love, going to be better than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that make you the things harder to find somebody else.
because now your
But how can you do
standards are
that?
higher.
How can you, like, have that kind of motivation to, like, be patient enough and be, like, I guess, disciplined enough to wait for that kind of love if you're involving yourself in all these different ways with people,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So
you have to take the time.
take the time.
Take the time and
Know
meet that
yourself.
person in different ways.
Mhm.
But that makes you to reestructurar,
It makes you restructure.
Mhm.
the dynamic that you're going to do for a date or met somebody,
Mhm.
because when you met a person that you really likes, it's like, man, I just want to know what is your favorite color.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and it's hard
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
if that person going to love you in tu forma real,
In your most realist form.
Mhm.
and so you want to wait,
Mhm.
but you want to touch the person too.
Yeah.
And it's not about sex. It's not about sex. It's about love. In my case, it's about love. You want to feel the love. But the thing is, when I feel
How
the
do you
love,
do
I going to, because my love language maybe is this. It's
Touch.
touch. So I have another question, but I forget it. When I get it, I'm going to put it on the table. So.
Question
Okay.
for you.
No, nothing actually, but I'm gonna say this, well, when we talk about these important things, we know there's many questions like everybody. How do you gonna live this life like God wants to live?
Mhm.
But you know what? When you found the revelation, like I say, so you're gonna find the way. How do you live? You have your rules, what you don't want to allow to other people
Mhm.
because you want to stay in that way, because you rule your race. Because if you have your goals clear,
Mhm.
you don't waste your time do anything or allows any other relationship in your life. If you know your goals, if you know you really are, you know you're valuable. Because without that, we know you can do whatever you want without your value. Because our life is not just the body. We know this is a temple of the Holy Spirit too,
Amen.
and we have to take care about that.
Mhm.
Yes.
And not just sexually, also, like, I challenge the guys
Mhm.
physically
Yeah.
Yeah.
to make
What are
exercise.
you eating and
Yeah.
exercising and everything?
Everything. So this is not just talking about to create a community. No, it's just how do you want to finish this challenge? How do you want to finish your goals? And because the relationship is not just a small things. We're talking about your whole life.
Your whole life.
Because not just well, I'm gonna start this relationship and I'm gonna finish between 1 year or 2 years. Everybody when finds love thinking that they're gonna finish the whole life, but it's not happening that way if you're not clear with your rule. Because you're allowed things that, well, I don't have clear everything.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna try this, I'm just gonna feel it, or I'm just gonna say what happened. But
That's the scariest thing is
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, I'm just going to see how it goes."
yeah,
Because then you put yourself in a very vulnerable place. And I wanted to ask you, since you're abstinent, like one of the biggest things for me personally for the show is that I want more guys on the show, because I feel like in churches, the first thing they'll do is start abstinent clubs for the girls, for the
Okay.
young girls, and they won't even include the guys. And I'm like, in order for women to be abstinent,
We
we
need
need
some
men
abstinent
to be
guys.
abstinent.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know?
I need a second part of this because I have a lot of questions.
We love it. We actually would love it if you guys came on our show, because we
Yeah.
need men.
Yeah.
We want guys on our show to talk about, especially you. You're in the life right now. Like, I have so many questions. for
everybody.
you.
And not just me.
And I think you would be a great addition, because we want to have a conversation.
Because you got experience about this, bro. You're the best one.
It's two really great perspectives,
Yeah.
because we have someone who has had sex, like we have.
Are you virgin?
Well, this is none of
Well,
our
this is
business.
something
Wait,
that I
wait,
don't
wait,
want to
wait,
say.
wait.
This is something that I don't want to say.
Someone who's actively having sex, someone who's actively not having sex. These are really great
No,
questions.
no, I'm not actively having sex.
He's open.
But you're open, bro. So what's going on?
But I'm not close to the conversation. I'm
Gotcha.
really open with this kind of
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
because it's something normal. It's
Yeah.
something.
It's a natural
for me-
thing. We
for
wouldn't
me
be here.
Yeah,
We would not.
For me, it's really frustrating that is a taboo in this church.
It is.
Nobody
Talk
speak about that.
And
Sex is
Exactly.
good, man. It's not
Exactly.
bad. You have to
That's
speak
why.
about that.
That's another reason why we started the podcast,
Yes.
because we feel like there's not enough like honest and like approachable conversations about sex in general
Mhm.
in the church. So we want to be the place where you can come and you can like we can break it down. Like we
Yeah.
can
Okay.
like
Like,
really talk about it.
The first podcast, we talked about multiple sexual acts.
Like what are they?
What that was one of my questions. 'Cause I want to put this. You don't
There.
need to answer right now, but
Yeah.
the
So
thing is,
we were like, okay, in order for us to tell you what abstinence is, because there's, believe it or not, there's some confusion about what abstinence
I was
is.
confused.
yeah.
No.
We got to define what sex is. So
Exactly.
what is sex? And so we went through a whole list, and we're going to keep on adding to it as we get more feedback from other people.
From our viewers.
Okay.
And,
And
listeners.
guess what? Well, I'll save that for later. for our next
Yeah,
interview.
yeah.
All
I want-
right.
Maybe
Yeah.
for the episode on your show.
Okay.
I want to put this. What happened
Mhm.
if you get married?
Yeah.
With somebody.
Mhm.
You were abstinence.
I'm sorry for laughing. I think I know where you're going.
And then the sex is bad.
And it happens.
How are you going to know? Because sex is a really important part. Oh, well, that's another question. Sex is a really important part
It
of the
is.
relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything to the feet of Jesus. Everything to the feet
Oh,
of Jesus.
that's so weird.
No, it doesn't have to be. See,
That's
when you
true.
spend your time having sex, you just think everything
That's a
to
trio.
the pure. All things are pure. Okay,
Well,
so I would say you take everything to God and you ask Him to empower both of you to be
Mhm.
able to please one another because y'all are one flesh. So if you're good at it and your partner is not, guess what? Y'all are one flesh. So that means that that person has the ability to become better. You got to communicate. Like you can't be shy.
Wow.
Okay, and you.
Most people don't communicate when they're having sex. Even people who aren't
Yeah,
Christian.
that's happening a lot.
I was always talking during sex. I was like, I like this, I like that, touch here, touch there. People
Everybody
are
speak about
scared.
sex, but
Yeah.
nobody
They're
speaks between
scared.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I had a friend who was having sex and she was like, he's never seen my downstairs. I don't know
How
much.
does that
physical.
work?
And I was just like, how do you have sex and he's not seeing you naked? She's like, oh, well, I turn off the lights and this and that. And he does certain things to me that don't feel good. And I'm like, you are doing literally something that's so intimate and so vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet you can't even tell this person.
They don't want to be open
That it
because
makes
they
you
just want to
uncomfortable?
feel the need and they
Mhm.
don't want to,
Yeah.
to open
Yes.
their body.
Yeah.
Like, how could
Yes.
you be vulnerably physically or
Mhm.
vulnerable physically, but you can't be vulnerable emotionally?
Mhm.
That's scary to me.
So that's
Yeah,
why you should
exactly.
probably develop that emotional side first. So that when you get there, when you find yourself in a situation where you're with your partner in marriage, you guys have worked on intimacy emotionally, mentally, communication wise. That it's no big deal to be like, babe, that was not good.
That was
Like,
not
I-
good.
But you
And
have to know
that's
what
what
to
I
say.
meant, yeah.
Because if
Oh,
you say
yeah.
like that, oh my God.
But if you're with your partner who knows that like your communication style is like so straightforward, they're not gonna like
They're not
hopefully
gonna
you
feel
chosen
rejected.
right. So
Yeah.
he's like, oh, this is just babe like saying what she's saying.
Mhm.
And then y'all can easily talk about it and laugh about it because
Yeah.
guess what? You've done all the work prior to getting to that moment
Okay.
where you guys can just be naked before each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I would say, I would
Go
like to challenge the church to really equip people,
Yeah.
people
I would
to
love to speak
to
about this in the church.
have
I
good
would
sex
too.
in their marriages.
Yeah.
And stop being so like taboo about it and
So
like
scared.
so
So,
scared.
I
Be
can-
open because the world has like diagrams. The world has like what to do, how to do it, how to become better at this or that. We need to
Yeah.
step it up. Actually, we should be the resource for people.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
should be showing people the way,
The way.
to do this within marriage.
Mhm.
And-
Because if we don't show them as a church,
Okay.
They're gonna
the
go
world
elsewhere.
is going to show them.
That's true.
What do you think about the meaning of sex? It's everything allowed with in sex?
So that's a good
Because
question.
the church want to teach you how to have sex too.
Uh-huh.
The church to do that.
You know, that's a good question. So I would say that we need to rely on our Bible scholars and people who really know how to divide the word to tell us these things. But the Bible has everything that you need in it. So if you want to know what God says yes to as far as sex goes, it's in the Bible. If you want to see what God says no to as far as sex goes, it's in the Bible. But there is a verse that says the marriage bed is undefiled. And a lot of people take that to mean like when you're within the confines of marriage, y'all can like get wild. Y'all can go for it. As long as there's no fornication, that means like extramarital sexual relations.
Okay. But
It's
if it's just between them.
just between y'all can get freaky. Like y'all can like have some fun.
Exactly.
But there are some verses in the Bible that say, okay, don't do this, don't do that. Now, do I know how to divide them myself? No, I do not. And so I would say a good thing to do would be to find a pastor who knows the word, find someone who knows the word well and ask them these questions. And I pray that they're open to actually taking you into the word and like discussing it with you honestly.
Exactly.
So-
That doesn't happen.
But it's happening now. We're part of
You
this
guys are now
movement.
part of it.
You guys are a part of this.
You have now officially helped the world.
Yeah.
Literally.
All right.
High five.
High five. Yeah.
That
Well,
was amazing. I love to have you here,
Thank
being
you.
part of Next Level Podcast.
Yep.
And I forget it. What is the name of your podcast?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
A,
Why?
abstinence
AY.
Like abstinence.
with
Yes.
Amber and
Yesenia.
Yes.
Yesenia.
Yesenia.
Well, I think this is a really good ministry, a really good project. I hope you being successful about this. I
Okay.
want to speak more about this
Yeah.
because
That's true.
it's a really big trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Trouble. The ignorance is a really big trouble in life. That's happening in the church too, and it's happening in Christian life. And I know it's like I was telling you, maybe it's not just for Christian people,
No.
because everybody want to have sex in the right way. Everybody want to have a relationship in the right way. But people not going to understand abstinence if we don't explain
Exactly.
on the right way too.
So can I add something?
Go
So
ahead.
you know how lots of people, the world is on like fasting as a way to like level up.
Okay.
Fasting. So lots of people fast just like through the morning or for a certain amount of hours, and they find that one, it like torches their metabolism and it helps them be more clear and more focused.
Mhm.
So I would recommend viewing abstinence as a fasting practice. And that's something that the world is doing right now. It's not just the Christian church.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
so I'm telling you, fasting is the abstinence for your physical, for your emotional, for your
Yeah.
sexual, and see if it doesn't change your life.
All right.
That's my recommendation.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You want to say something else?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys because
Yes.
I feel like I got a lot out of this conversation too. Some of the questions that you guys asked made me think about a lot of things from a different perspective. And I feel like right now I'm in a time of healing. And when you were asking me, like, I keep going back to this because I keep ruminating over it. When you were like, why do you disassociate? There's something that happened. I know that there's trauma there. I know that there's things that I have to work out because I've never been able to put those things together,
Yeah.
those two.
You're
And
not a teacher, you're a student too.
I want to
Exactly.
eventually get to the point where if I'm married to someone, I won't disassociate those two things anymore. I want to be healthy
Exactly.
and whole
Yeah.
before I come into a marriage.
All right.
So
No.
thank you guys.
All right. Cool, bro. We're going to finish this podcast.
So this was Next Level Podcast. Thank you for watching us. And remember, give likes, share this, and nos vemos a la próxima.
Así es. Gracias por estar ahí.
Welcome
Chao,
back to
chao.
Spanish.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.